not the meanies on Twitter.
Anna,
how many more lawsuits are you going to face from women that you
Twitters?
allegedly secretly recorded during intimate moments, Destiny? I can't believe anyone takes you seriously.
When I heard Destiny got demonetized, I didn't lose any sleep over it. So now we're going to react to him debating on Piers Morgan over saying something absolutely terrible about Charlie Kirk's death.
Destiny, you've been quite active on social media since Charlie Kirk's death. When Erica Kirk posted Charlie's coffin, you responded, she tagged him, brackets, crying face emojis. In response to Alina Haber's tweet ordering people to fly their flags at half-mast in memory of Charlie, you posted on X buying flags and poles just to fly them fully erect. And you then posted yesterday, ending every conservative debate call out I do in 2026 with don't dodge, bro. That's not what Charlie would have wanted. I mean, do you think that your response to the cold-blooded murder of Charlie Kirk has been appropriate?
Yes. I think that the only way this country moves forward into a better world is when conservatives can finally realize that they need to turn the temperature down on their side. We are...
Oh my gosh, I'm going to crash out. He said conservatives need to turn the temperature down on our side after we just had not even a politician, but a YouTuber get shot in the neck. What is wrong with this man? What on earth?
10 years into whatever this Trump madness is, and there is not a single mainstream conservative that will call for a lowering of the temperature on their side. I think that liberals need to wake up and finally realize that if they're not willing to do it, it will never come down. If you wanted Charlie Kirk to be alive, Donald Trump shouldn't have been president for the second term. Every time he's in office, this happens. People joked about when Biden came in, it was so boring, nothing was going on. 7 out of 10 of the largest protests in American history have happened under Donald Trump. All of the recent political violence that's happened in this country over the past 20 years, the majority of it, the overwhelming majority of it, everybody gets mad because they keep asking Grok about it, has been conservative.
Who shot Charlie Kirk?
A guy from Utah who was raised in a Christian family, who was a 22-year-old
guy
white
described
dude. He wasn't trans. He didn't have a
Destiny.
trans girlfriend. He didn't have any trans influences. He didn't have any trans bullets. Yeah, I'm sorry. You guys were wrong on all of that.
To be clear, the governor of Utah, Spencer Cox, has made it clear that their investigation has now established that he had been radicalized by a leftist ideology, which drove him to do this. That's just
I'm sorry. Excuse me. When?
Yesterday, you said that.
No. When was he radicalized? In the 6 months that he did remote college?
I don't know when he was radicalized, but I do know.
What you just said
I do know the very reasonable sounding governor of Utah has made it clear that the you may not want to hear this.
Ongoing investigation.
You may not want to hear it, Destiny. But the reality is, the investigators, according to the governor of Utah, have established that he was radicalized to a leftist ideology that drove him to murder Charlie Kirk. Now, let me just ask you.
That's just not true.
Let me just ask you.
There's no way to deal with it.
Okay,
you're living in a delusion.
He has texts released with his trans roommate. I mean, this is the thing. Liberal men gaslight you just as bad as women do. You know it's bad when Anna Kasparian is the voice of reason.
That's your prerogative. But
sure.
If it turns out to have been somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the president of the United States can go on air and say...
You have got to be kidding me. He won't condemn somebody being shot in the neck. Like, now he's going to change the topic. What is wrong with you? These people are always into such weird things.
All of us need to calm down.
So you won't condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk until Donald Trump says something.
I'm a YouTuber. Leftists and Democrats have been condemning and turning down the temperature, condemning violence, turning down the temperature for a decade. Donald Trump can't go on TV and say, all of us need to calm down.
Right.
Can you tell me why he cannot?
Why would you expect anybody, Destiny?
You can't answer that. Can you answer that question? Why can't Trump
you
go
answer
on TV
this
and say,
question?
all of us should be less violent.
Why do you
can't
think
Trump say that?
Why do you
Why
think
is your behavior contingent on Donald Trump?
Insane right now.
Why do you
is
think?
your
No, let me
behavior
ask you a
contingent
question.
on Donald Trump?
Let me ask you a question.
Because he's the president of the United States of America and the leader of the
Destiny. Let me just.
What are you, a child?
have a huge audience of young men who
I'm a
listen to
YouTuber
everything you have to
who
say.
has more
So
young
when
men
you,
following
it
him.
doesn't matter.
Who
You
has
have a
more young-
huge
it doesn't
audience,
matter.
and because
This
of
is
the fact that
world
you have a
I'm
huge
living in,
audience,
and
you
your
have
brain
a
has been
responsibility
broken by
to
online
not turn.
rhetoric.
No,
And
it
your
hasn't.
brain
It
has
hasn't been
been
broken. I actually
destroyed
care
because
about the
people
country
bully you
and
on
want to bring
Twitter.
people together.
If
You do
then
the
you should tell
opposite.
Donald
You
Trump to
represent
tell
the
people
worst
to
of us,
be
Destiny.
less
You're
violent.
embarrassing.
You should tell
You're
Donald.
embarrassing.
All right, let me ask
Watch how
Destiny
easy
a
this is.
question.
Watch how easy this
No,
is.
hang on.
If
Don't all
Trump were to
shout
come
at
out
once,
and say-
please.
If Donald Trump were to come out
Destiny,
and say, "Hey, we should all be less violent,"
Destiny,
I have no problem saying.
I have one
absolutely.
question for you,
Why
Destiny.
can't conservatives do that? Why
Destiny.
can't conservatives do that?
Destiny, I have a question for you.
Do you ever feel like there's too much to do, but you don't have enough time? Meet Super Ninja.
Why do you think in your campaign for everyone to dial down the temperature, why do you think that mocking the grieving widow of Charlie Kirk when she posts an image of her at the coffin side, why do you think that constitutes turning down the temperature?
You can't turn down the temperature on your own. The president of the United
You
States is
inflame the
not
temperature.
able
You're
to
mocking
no,
his
it's
widow.
already inflamed.
You're
What are you
mocking his
talking-
I cannot believe he's saying to turn down the temperature after they've had violent protests, violent riots, and they just shot somebody in the neck. I have never been more gaslit in my life. He's destroying himself.
Think
Widow.
about, we've had multiple political assassinations over the past year. What do you mean it's turning up the temperature?
Why did you
to
mock his
violence
widow?
online?
Ever.
Because
Why
she's
did you mock
being
his
wielded
widow?
as because
He's just not a nice person. He is mean.
she's being used as a political weapon right now
Wow.
for conservatives to continue their fight. What do you,
Okay, I won't lie. I actually agree with him on that she's being used as like a political thing, but it's still just in poor taste. Destiny.
mean? Wow, she's literally doing
Her husband just got
ads
murdered.
on email. Yeah, and she's using it to drive up recruitment for
And
a
you
political
can't even
movement.
condemn the murder. You
The
won't condemn
president
it.
can't even tell his side
You're
to
so
turn the temperature
deranged
down.
about Trump
You are,
that you
are
cannot condemn the
unhinged.
murder
It is such
because
a
you're
joke,
waiting
and
for
you guys
Donald
sit here
Trump
and
to
make-
This is what I mean when idiots get the most airtime. They just overtalk everybody. The smartest guys just walk away and don't argue. They just got better shit to do.
say
money
something.
off of it. It's
All right, let me bring
crazy
in
to
let me
me
bring
that
in Jack.
Republicans can't
Let me
do
bring
it.
in let me bring in Jack
What a joke of a
Posobiec.
world.
I gotta
And there
say,
will be there's still no answer to that question, Piers. You can't say
Which question?
Why can't Donald Trump simply
It is crazy that the Daily Wire sat down with Destiny and gave him a softball debate, and they would not have. And this is a guy involved in alleged pedophilia. I'm not saying he did it, I don't know, but that's a pretty heavy allegation, right? And they won't have Nick F on, they won't have Rolo on. It's actually crazy to me that they have this guy on, but not the other two.
go on TV and say we all need to turn it down?
Fine.
Like Biden could, like Obama could,
Fine.
like the Clintons could, like Kamala could. Why
Fine.
not?
why can't you condemn the murder of
See,
Charlie
it's
Kirk?
unbelievable. I'm not the president
Why
of the United
can't
States.
you
answer that
condemn
question.
the
It's
murder of Charlie
unbelievable.
Kirk?
Unbelievable to me.
Why
Is
can't
he on
you
drugs?
condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Because it wasn't my side that caused it. It should
Yes,
be the
it
one that
was.
is driving up
It
the
actually
rhetoric. You
was
don't
your
know it's
side
not
that
even
caused
true.
it.
This
It was
an
your
18
side.
This guy was raised in a white
He
Christian
was a
household,
radicalized
in a Christian
leftist
state.
ideology.
He wasn't radicalized by leftism at all. You have no proof of that whatsoever.
That's what
Just
the
like one that killed
investigators are
Melissa
saying.
was a conservative, just like the people that firebombed Shapiro's house was a conservative, just like all the J6ers were
He was not
conservatives,
a
just like the Proud
conservative, he was
Boys
a
were conservative.
pro-Palestinian activist
Every
out of
single one of
Harrisburg.
every single one of these people. Oh, it's Jack Posobiec, what, the author of Unhuman, another person that Charlie's put a good one, dude.
But I'll give you one last chance, Destiny, to condemn the murder of Charlie
Yes, you are
Kirk.
acting like an
Why,
unhuman.
why can't I hear Donald Trump
Because you are against
condemn violence
humanity.
in this
All right,
country?
you
Why
won't
can't I
condemn
hear
it.
it?
Okay, we've
I
all
can't hear it.
heard.
That's insane.
We've
to
all
me.
heard you repeatedly refuse to
And we've
condemn it.
heard Donald Trump refuse to condemn
Jack
it too. But for
Posobiec.
some reason, the leftists on YouTube are a bigger deal. Unbelievable.
Yeah, what's incredible is you don't have the basic humanity to condemn it. You'd rather taunt his widow. I find that sickening. Jack Posobiec.
I find it sickening that when people are getting
It's so crazy how the dumbest people get the most airtime. This is what I mean. Good behavior is not rewarded. And I think if you go through life expecting that good behavior is rewarded, he's doing a terrible thing. He's rewarded with a huge platform and the most airtime on one of the biggest shows in the entire country. Yeah, we're going to go nuts.
killed in the country, the president of the United States on Fox and Friends when they're begging him, what do you say to your followers that want revenge? He says, I don't know. All the elections are rigged. It's the radical Democrats. That's insane to me. And then the fixation is, well, who on Twitter and YouTube isn't condemning the violence?
Milo, get off the toaster. Okay, sorry. I'm with you now.
That's okay. All right, Katie. You're there.
All right, Jack
Piers,
Posobiec.
you have a great example here of the type of cancer I'm talking about, where when you present direct information, they refuse, they obfuscate, they refute, they say it's not true, they lie. You could see from the bullet casings, you could see from postings, you could see from everything out there that it's very clear what happened here. This is the same people who supported President Trump almost getting assassinated twice last year, Corey Capatore being assassinated
By
last year
conservatives.
in a situation. Again, see, just lies. That's all they do. They talk over. They don't even let you give a chance to speak. And something needs to be done, Piers. Something absolutely needs to be done. This ideology should be shamed, humiliated, driven from the public discourse. I mean, you've got people who have completely dissociated with humanity because all they care about are clicks and YouTube streams and likes. Go to the casket. Go to the gravesite. Go talk to the widow. I don't even know how to discuss this with someone who's completely lost all touch with reality.
Yeah, I mean, Anna.
What's Jack's answer to why can't the
Look how he's like over talking everyone. It's just so rude.
president say we should all be less violent?
Right. Because you can't even condemn the cold-blooded
Because I
execution
can't.
of Charlie
Donald Trump
Kirk.
turns on Destiny.
I don't think you're in the
YouTube,
position
and he
to
says, "I
demand
wonder what
anything from
Destiny's saying
anybody
on YouTube." That's how I'm going to take my.
You're
my
not in any
pointers, but
position
really?
to condemn anybody for anything. You won't
absolutely
condemn
am,
a
because he's the
cold-blooded
president
murder.
He deserves to have his kid be a groyper. That would happen to him. Imagine this is your dad.
The United States. He's the president of the United States. No one here can answer that question.
Basic
Why Donald
humanity
Trump-
says
why
the murder
Donald Trump,
was
the president,
horrific.
Can't say
Why can't
all
you
of
say
us need
it?
to be less violent.
Why can't you
Democrats
say
have been
it,
saying
Destiny?
for over a decade.
To say
Democrats have
the
been saying it for
murder
over a
was
decade.
horrific and
Why
unacceptable.
can't Donald Trump say it?
You can't do
why
it,
does
can
no one
you?
hear any words for Donald Trump?
All right, Anna
What do you have for
Kasparin.
Donald Trump? Nothing exactly.
Anna Kasparin, to me, this is what I'm talking about, that I think there is an element of the left, the hard woke left, that have completely lost their minds. If you are not able to just outright simply condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk, and if you cannot stop yourself from mocking his grieving widow, you are sick, as I've just seen from Destiny.
The sick thing is
mindset.
weaponizing a widow's grief to try to do recruitment for your political party. That's probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. She's showing up in emails for recruitment
what
drives
would
for
you
TP
expect,
USA.
though, Destiny?
24
What did
what
you
would I
think
expect
the
for somebody whose
assassination
husband
of a
was just
political
killed? I
figure
would
would
say you'd
do?
probably
What did
take-
you think
you
the outcome was going to be? What did you think the
what do
outcome was? And
hold
by
on,
the
I'm
way,
sorry, are you asking
really,
me for the pragmatic
your
political outcome,
behavior?
or are you asking
hold
me
on,
for?
Hey,
You're
how
asking a
about
question,
take it
so I
easy
didn't know
on
it
the
was rhetorical.
Adderall? Take it easy on the Adderall, and let me answer the question that Piers
sorry,
asked me.
you must have been really
Okay,
bullied today.
my
I guess.
behavior-
Let Anna speak, please.
My behavior is not reliant on how anyone else behaves. Every morning I wake up and I make decisions about how I choose to react or respond to things. I don't wake up in the morning, check what Donald Trump has to say, and then base my own personal behavior on his behavior. I agree with you in that it would be very helpful to have the leader of this country want to turn the temperature down. And he hasn't done that. I agree with you on that. But that doesn't change the way I choose to respond to what's going on. The idea of mocking a woman who is now a widow with 2 young children who witnessed her husband get shot in the neck and bleed out to death. How could you mock that? What is wrong with you? I just don't understand it. That's it. I don't understand it. I don't understand you, Destiny. You have so much hatred in your heart, and at the same time, you
it's such a
judge
simple thing.
others
If you're
as being
going to
hateful.
weaponize somebody's grief against the other party, well, then of course people have a right to fight back against it. I think that she has every right to grieve in whatever way she wants, but when that grief is going to be weaponized to do
What is wrong with this person? What is wrong with him?
recruitment, political recruitment, and further radicalization of the other side, then of course you not only have the ability to mock it, I think you have the obligation to mock it. It's insane.
Let me understand. Let me understand your argument. So since others are using her grief to politically recruit, you think that it's okay to mock her specifically?
Since others
How
are
does that make
using
any
her grief,
sense?
she's the one who gave a 17-minute speech on TV where she talked about good versus evil. She's the one showing up in
Destiny,
TP
let me
USA
explain.
ads to
Let
1
me
or 2
explain
days
something
after.
to you. If someone assassinated my husband, I would not be able to have the level of composure she had during that speech, I would be out for blood. I understand why she's angry and why she said the things that she said. Okay, you need to understand what being a human is, what it's like to actually lose someone that you love, that you chose to spend your life with.
How the hell is Anna Kasparian the voice of reason on this panel?
You chose to raise children with, a person who was violently and viciously assassinated like that. This is why I've moved away.
And when
from
something
identifying as
you got bullied online. It's so funny. It's so funny that you just said that you don't think about how other people act to define your behavior. Your entire political ideology now is somehow defined by the people that were mean to you on Twitter.
No,
if somebody
it's
cares
not.
about somebody who's grieving,
I understood
you tell that
what
person,
the flaws on the left happen to be. The
maybe you should
weakness in their
step back
arguments.
for a couple of
No,
weeks.
it's
Maybe
not
you should
about
take
the
some
way
time
I
to
get
grieve.
treated.
You don't
I get
say,
treated
hey, let's
like
throw a
crap from
camera in
both
front
sides
of
of
you
the
and have
political
you do
aisle.
mass recruitment for our political party while everyone over here is calling for civil war. It's unhinged. When you've got people like Matt Walsh and the Daily Wire, the
we're
president
talking to a guy who said he'd be okay with his own parents getting killed if they went to that Trump rally where that assassination attempt
and we're
happened.
talking to a
There's
woman
no
who went
reasoning
on and
with
did
you,
the whole
Destiny.
conservative media
There's
outlet with
there's
Tucker
no
Carlson
reasoning
and
with
Glenn
you.
Beck and had nothing bad to say whatsoever. I know where your bread is buttered. I know where
And
you're
it was
making your money
great. I
from.
had
Okay, that's
awesome
great.
conversations.
I
I don't regret it at all.
That's great.
I also had a conversation with Jack Posobiec on her take. It was awesome.
Yeah, I know.
That's what democracy is about. Having an exchange of ideas.
Comes out of his
Yeah.
mouth.
All right, let me bring in. Let me
I
bring
don't
in.
agree with him on everything, but at least we can have dialogue.
Anna, you're completely right, by the way. Anna is completely right.
Didn't it?
And the irony of Charlie Kirk is that he led the way in going in to debate with people who hated him, and he would try and have respectful dialogue.
Charlie Kirk beat up on college students.
Unlike you, Destiny.
Let's be
Let
real.
me bring Andrew Wilson in.
So do you.
Let me bring in Andrew Wilson.
So do you. You beat up on college students. You go on a college tour. You're going on a college tour right now to beat up on college students.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
So he's going on a college tour and criticizing Charlie Kirk for going on college tour. You can't make this shit up.
What are you talking about, Destiny? That's what you're doing right this second, is going on a college tour to go beat up on college students. By the way, can I just ask you a question?
I don't exclusively beat up on college.
Can you actually answer? Can you actually answer? Hang on, calm down. I just got one question. I got one question for you, and I want you to actually answer it. Are you glad Charlie Kirk is dead?
No, I don't think anybody in this country should be dying to political violence. It's insane. The past 5 years in this country has been crazy. But the reality is, until conservatives,
so then why did you say that to your co-host that Trump deserved a bullet? Why did you tell him that?
Until conservatives have to say, hey, we all need to be less violent, there's no purpose in Democrats doing it, because every time Democrats disavow, you further entrench your guys' delusional beliefs that all the violence is coming on the left. Donald Trump can go on TV. He can say,
I wish they could just mute him. Pierce, you got to get a mute button on here.
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. They can go on Parler and say, we heard you. They can go to the Capitol and break in and try to insurrect. They can get convicted in front of a jury, and then Donald Trump can pardon them, and we can come out and go, hey, guys, why aren't Democrats disavowing violence? And pretend that the problem is coming from the left. Democrats do a disservice to this country by disavowing violence constantly when the president of the United States
Let me respond quickly.
And say, all of us need to be less violent.
Destiny, so the thing is, why did you say to your co-host that the bullet was for Trump? Why did you say to your co-host that the best place for the bullet was Trump? Why did you say that?
Why did Donald Trump call
it's a whataboutism? Whataboutism. I'm asking you a question.
Whataboutism.
I can't be a whataboutism if it's my question, Destiny.
Why won't Donald Trump
answer the question?
Right, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do this before I cut mics?
Because you don't care.
Destiny,
you don't care that Kirk's
Destiny, allow Andrew to repeat his question and let him ask the question. Then you answer it, okay, Andrew?
No, I want to hear the other side.
Let him ask the question.
Donald Trump.
Let him ask the question, Destiny, and then you answer it. Andrew.
Destiny told his co-host, when asked point blank if he wanted the bullet to kill Trump, that the worst thing that could have happened was the bullet missing. He said this to Pisco. I watched it. Okay. This guy's an obfuscation machine. And if you know what else, Destiny, why should we believe you? I think you are glad Kirk is dead. And all of your tweets seem to prove that. And you would have been happy if Trump was assassinated. You've made that very clear. So why not just be truthful for once in your fucking life and say the truth, that you don't care that Kirk is dead, and you're actually probably glad he is. Isn't that really what's true?
I don't want anybody in this country to die to political violence. I don't think in the United States of America that should be happening. I don't know why it's so hard for the president to say the same. I think it'd be the easiest thing in the world as a president. Biden did it for 4 years. That's why everything was way cooler when he was here, like in terms of temperature.
Gaslighting. Oh, look at Anna. Anna's face. She's about to say something. Oh, what's she going to say?
The Clintons have no problem saying it. Barack Obama has no problem saying it. Kamala Harris has come out and said it. Every Democratic lawmaker and leader has basically come out and said it. But for some reason on the Republican side, it's just civil war, civil war, civil war. And the Republican president of the United States, who has presided over more violence politically in this country, more large protests than any president in all of U.S. history, for some reason can't bring himself to say, all of us need to calm down. And
so did Trump deserve the bullet?
Did
Trump deserve the bullet?
This is all you care about are the political hit jobs.
Just answer the question, bro. Did Trump deserve the bullet?
Did Donald Trump
did he deserve the bullet
on his side ever? Did Donald Trump
answer the question? Did
See, here's the thing. This is probably the smartest guy at the panel. Nothing against Andrew. Andrew's pretty smart too, but you know, I can't. YouTubers we could never be in the top tier. I'll never put us in the top tier because we're you know. There's anyways, but he speaks the least, and that's just always how it goes.
Trump deserves the bullet.
The dumbest person speaks the most, which is Destiny.
You can't answer the question. We're here to play.
No, bro, it's my turn to ask the question. It's your turn to answer.
It's YouTube video
clips. Did Trump deserve the bullet?
Did Trump disavow violence in this country ever?
Did he deserve the bullet? Yes, he's disavowed violence. But again, I just did. Now your turn. Now your turn. It's your turn.
Did Donald Trump?
Did Trump deserve the bullet?
I never said that. No, I never said that. No.
Okay, except you did to your co-host.
No, I didn't. Oh, wait. When did Donald Trump disavow? Wait. When did Donald Trump disavow violence in this country?
Your co-host, you lying sack of shit. If he wanted to kill Trump, the worst thing that could have happened was the bullet missing.
Violence, and
that's what you said.
And this is,
bro.
Yeah. And this is where when you're putting YouTubers and tweeters on the same level as the president of the United States, this is why conservatives are absolutely brain broken when it comes to violence in this country. And that's why I don't.
Conservatives are brain broken when it comes to violence in this country. I'm speechless at this point.
Continue.
But Destiny, Destiny,
Maybe it'll be me at the next one. Who knows? There'll be
Destiny.
Destiny. You're going to turn around and be like, I can't believe it. What's going on? What's happening here?
Okay, Destiny. If you care so much about political violence in America, why don't you lead the way yourself without mentioning anybody else? Why don't you, Destiny, right now just outright condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Because we've been doing that for a decade. One side can't turn down the temperature.
You can't do it.
Can't turn down the temperature.
He said the left can't turn down the temperature, but the right needs to turn down. I really have no words. This is the ultimate gaslighting.
Temperature. If Donald Trump can't,
that guy just started praying.
then the left shouldn't until he does.
Got it.
Republicans
you don't want to do it.
Need accountability for their actions. They need some responsibility for the insanity.
He had it coming,
even though you take none yourself. Let me bring in Jack Posobiec.
We absolutely.
All right, that's enough, Destiny. I'll bring in Jack Posobiec.
Yeah,
Jack.
Okay. Nice. Both sides it.
Jack.
Yeah.
What is your response to this?
Every time I hit a bottleneck, I build a new AI employee to crush it. I used to say that I had one AI employee.
I mean, Piers, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You know, this type of ideology where you've got someone who's willing to mock Erica, who's been standing strong for her family, for her children, who's just, she will never be able to grow old with Charlie. She will never be able to be with them again, have more children, to have grandchildren, to have those memories, to raise them. It's all gone. Every single moment of that future that they had was gone because someone fired a bullet at Charlie Kirk that said, "Hey, fascist, catch." And now you have people celebrating it. And when you ask people
That's
about
not even
it,
the
they
bullet
say,
that was fired. How are you lying about this?
Shut
even?
up, Destiny.
Holy
shut up.
You're so
Shut
shameless,
up.
dude. Oh my God. You're not even inside the right bullet. You're such a disgusting piece of shit. Holy fuck.
What a pedantic point.
What a
pedantic. This guy's a fucking professional liar.
It's total pedantry.
This guy probably
I would like to let Jack finish his point.
Pierce, you got to get a mute button. You got to get a mute button.
Yeah,
and they'll claim there's no leftist connection. They'll claim there's no there, and then go so far as to lie and say there's some kind of Christian conservative connection when you could see the writing on the bullet casings. And so, these are very common symbols associated, whatever. The point is, right, it should be very, very clear. Are we connected with our humanity or are we not? And some people are willing to do that. Anna's been willing to do that. We've done shows together. They've been fine. They've been good. We've jousted. We've done the back and forth. Destin and I in the past have had shows together where before he kind of took this turn, and you think there are people who can just be willing to stand up for humanity.
Jack, it reminds me a bit of the journey I've gone on, very different circumstances, but the Israel-Hamas war. The reason I asked everybody on the pro-Palestinian side for months after the war started, do you condemn what Hamas did, is I think it was very enlightening as to the humanity of the person by how they responded. If their immediate response was, of course I do, the mass murder of civilians on October the 7th was a horrendous atrocity, then we can move on to an intellectually honest debate. If they refuse to condemn what Hamas did, it's a completely different debate. And similarly, right now, I feel if you can't condemn a lot of what the IDF are doing, frankly, it's my opinion, in Gaza, then the same thing. If you're unequivocally like, it's all fine with 20,000 plus kids being killed, then I've got a problem with that too. But I do think you've got to try and maintain in all of these debates a modicum of humanity about people who are actually being killed. And what is terrifying about the mindset of a lot of people on the woke left I've seen since Charlie Kirk's death is the brazen glee that they're taking to his murder. And then when I see even Destiny, who's a very well-followed person on the internet, well-known, when Destiny, frankly, if you can't bring yourself just to say the murder was horrific and should never have happened, it's a very simple sentence. It's just basic humanity. It really makes me despair for where everything is going, because it's indicative of the mindset of, I can't give an inch to my political opponents, therefore I lose my humanity. How can that be right?
Because you can't give an inch to political opponents that won't recognize or acknowledge anything they've done is wrong. It's all it's done is gotten us here. This is where we're at because of that exact mindset. Will any of the conservatives here acknowledge the conservative that murdered Melissa Hortman and her husband and shot the other senator in Minnesota?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
that it was a conservative shooter? That it was a conservative shooter?
I don't know the details on that particular case. If I did, and it turned out that it was the case, of course, I would say that such violence should be disavowed. Thing is, you can't hold your entire moral standard based on what you think Trump is doing or not doing. What does that have to do with you, Destiny? It has nothing to do with you. You can easily just say, you can lead by example and say, let's all tone down the violence.
You can't lead by
example. That's what you want,
the president
right?
of the United States. That's what Democrats have been doing.
Wait, you can't lead by
decade.
example because you're not the president? That's the stupidest thing I've heard
if
today.
One side wants to fight and the other side doesn't, then you're going to fight. One side can't decide not to fight, but the other side
makes no sense. What does that have
what do
to
you mean
with
it makes
you?
no
You
sense?
can-
If
you
some
can
guy comes up to
easily-
you to
you
fight,
can easily
and the
just
other
say it
side
now,
says, I don't
Destiny.
want to, you don't really have the choice there.
Lead by example then. Lead by
You
example.
can't lead by
and show
example.
us.
That's called dying.
You can.
Actually,
Right
I
now.
actually
Do it
thought.
right now. Do it right
I
now.
actually
That's a party
thought.
of
Let me
self-defense.
jump in.
Because you're actually happy
Let me
about
jump
it,
in
Destiny.
here.
Just be honest, you're happy
I actually
about it.
felt that Anna hit the nail on the head here.
You're not going to believe what happened. Tell me everything. I'll show you on Monday.com. So I started the biggest.
Which is she did not need to wait for Donald Trump to comment on this to make her own mind up about what had happened. That is intellectual honesty, right? Yes, it may have been somebody that she totally disagreed with on many issues. The simple, humane thing to do with any event like this is to ask yourself, how do I personally feel about it? Not what does Donald Trump think about it, or what does Joe Biden think about it, or what does Timbuktu think about it? It's what do I personally feel about this? It didn't take me very long, Destiny, to understand that I felt repulsed by the execution of somebody in cold.
And the crazy thing is, even our worst criminals don't get public executions. That's what makes it even more sad. Like the worst of the worst do not get public executions, but a white conservative Christian male does. Sad.
Blood with his wife and 2 young children there watching. It's a human reaction. I don't need to know what Donald Trump thinks about it at all. I don't understand why you need to wait for him before your own humanity
I don't need to wait
kicks
for
in.
anybody. No, you're not asking how we feel about it. You're asking what the public statements should be. And the public statements should be the president of the United States.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No,
you're
I'm
asking
not.
me for a public statement
I'm
right
asking,
now.
where is your humanity? You can't just say the murder was
wrong. Where is your humanity,
wrong.
Piers? You guys are playing into this exactly. I think you probably know it. I think Cornell was right about this. You know where your bread is buttered as well. You guys play into this. It's insane to me that the president of the United States can't say, hey, all of us need to be less violent. We all need to calm the fuck down. That the president of the United States can't say
We got to stop putting him on those shows.
this, but you will.
But it's he's rewarded, right? He makes money off of being absolutely insane.
Endlessly scour Twitter and YouTube for leftists to bring on and say, don't you guys disavow the violence? It's absolutely absurd to me.
You know, Cornel West should have stayed in his seat. We were debating free speech, actually, and whether
You're not debating free speech.
Let me finish. And whether the overuse of words like Hitler, Nazis, and fascists was actually empowering deranged young minds to think they were battling actual new Hitler, Nazis, and fascists. And actually, when Andrew pointed out to Cornell that he had used the phrase neo-fascist about Trump, that's when Cornell decided he couldn't take part in the debate anymore, when he was reminded of something he had said. He didn't try and deny it. He just said, I don't want to have this debate, and left.
Piers, how long have you been in the United States, like following our politics?
Over 20 years, I've lived and worked in America.
Okay, if you've lived and worked in America, I grew up as a conservative listening to Rush Limbaugh and to Glenn Beck and to Billy Cunningham and to Sean Hannity. You're going to sit here and pretend like Democrats are the ones that started the name calling? I heard them call Obama and the Clinton socialists and communists.
When did I say that?
I heard them call. I'm just saying, why are we pretending that some people...
I'm saying, why
He just keeps moving the goalpost. Oh, this is so insane.
Household?
Why would Cornel West walk out on a debate when we're literally talking about the importance of speech? Makes no sense to me.
If speech is important, then the president should exercise it more cautiously.
So should you.
Republicans have been. You can't stop.
You've got millions of followers, and you think it's fine to show them you're mocking a widow.
You cannot choose for your opponent not to fight you.
Fine.
If Republicans won't turn down the rhetoric, then who cares? Donald Trump shouldn't have used the rhetoric that led her to be killed. 2 days before she dies,
cares that you mocked a grieving widow?
This is all. It's just virtue signaling. You guys are excited about it. You guys love it.
How is it? How is it that you said this guy can't possibly be a leftist?
It's exciting to you. It's insane to me.
Yeah.
No,
how is it that you said this guy can't be a leftist because he grew up in a white Christian household when you grew up in a white Christian household by your own admission just now, and you're a fucking leftist, Destiny?
I'm 36 years old. This guy was 22, and
I can't believe he's 36. That's crazy.
Lived at
home. What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything?
I had 20 years to separate myself from my parents' ideology. I didn't live with them still. Jesus.
So six.
But he's been streaming since he was really young.
Months, 1 year, 20 years. Why does it matter how long it took to separate? You just got to say it was impossible. And you yourself are a leftist who grew up in a Christian conservative household.
You can't make this shit up.
Dude. You're the worst hypocrite I've ever seen.
Hold on, I'm sorry. You think that a 22-year-old has as much time to separate himself from the ideology that he grew up with as a 36-year-old?
Didn't say.
Yeah. They can start sooner because you are consuming social media content at like 10, 12. I mean, I have a relative that was pretty liberal by the time she graduated high school. And she started getting that way at literal 12 years old because they're on TikTok, they're on Twitter, they're on social media.
Yeah, you just made the comparison, dipshit. Of course you did. It's not.
Let me ask you.
Look at you.
Point.
Let me jump in. Let me jump in. Let me ask Jack. Jack, you know the Kirk family well. You've been around the Kirk family, I think, since this is appalling murder has happened. When you hear Destiny saying, "Who cares?" about the fact that he openly, publicly mocked Erica Kirk, a grieving widow, within literally a day or two of her husband being murdered. How does that make you feel as a friend of the family?
It's very angry, Piers, you know. And here's the thing is she's seeing all of it. She's going to see all of it. Her kids are going to watch this video one day. It's just, that's sort of the nature of reality now. They will see all of this and they will see the reaction. And I just hope that those of us who knew Charlie, worked with Charlie, who knew Charlie beyond the, TikToks and short videos, can also be there for those kids as they grow up, to let them know who their dad was.
And
kids are going to grow up and watch old episodes of Piers Morgan uncensored. How performative is this? Is everybody here? Did we all get like a script before the show?
What is wrong with him? I think he really might be autistic.
They watch a lot of old episodes of the
so
JFK.
embarrassing. You make the left look so bad, and you don't even realize it. You are seriously so embarrassing.
Okay, yeah.
God.
You can talk to your best friend.
You really
Glenn
are.
Beck about
I mean,
it
like,
later,
you
and have
do you
another
feel?
30-minute conversation about it, Anna.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will talk to Glenn Beck about it. Oh, is that ooh? Is that naughty? Is it
How
naughty
many
to have
conversations have you had with
people
Nick?
across the aisle?
You had more conversations with Nick than anyone.
So mean. Oh no, not the meanies on Twitter.
Anna,
How many more
finish your point.
lawsuits are you going to face from women that you allegedly secretly recorded during intimate moments, Destiny? I can't believe anyone takes you seriously.
Oh, she didn't say that. Oh my gosh.
You really?
You're
You want to
disgusting.
pull out Twitter?
You're embarrassing, and you should be shunned from public life with your disgusting treatment of all sorts of people, including young left-wing girls, women
You're turning
that you
more
victimized
blonde right
allegedly.
now in the window. You're
that's who
you're
you
like
are.
2 shades away from being
You're
a Fox News host,
embarrassing.
Anna.
You
Keep
embarrass the
going.
left. You're the type of person who pushes people away from the left. Make sure you understand that. You're embarrassing. There's no morality with you. There's no grounding values. There's no principles. All you want is attention, 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 attention. That's all you want.
Yeah, of course.
All you
and
want.
Jen talking
Endless
about how
attention.
9/11 was
Say
caused by the
disgusting,
Jews, and you have
provocative garbage.
another friendly conversation with
attention.
another mainstream conservative commentator about how you're such a leftist, but those people on Twitter are so mean.
The structure motorized pergola system is reinventing the way homeowners experience the outdoors.
Having a debate or dialogue doesn't automatically mean that you agree with everything they have to say. It means you're coming
it's when you sit down and you're
exchanging ideas and debating them. No, I don't agree with everything they have to say. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you do.
I don't agree with everything they have to say. But I'm an adult.
Sit down and all
I can sit down and have a mature debate or conversation.
And you have no disagreements about anything on the right? Yeah, that's called
I do
agreement.
have criticisms for the left. I have tons of criticisms for the right. Tons of criticism.
She's a woman. Obviously, she's going to criticize both sides, but I can't believe she brought that up on TV.
Obviously,
they don't seem to come out much when you're talking to your
I obviously have a huge problem with the unending, unmitigated support for Israel, regardless of the genocide they're engaging in. I have all sorts of disagreements with the right. That doesn't mean I'm going to dehumanize them and cheer on the slaughter of my fellow Americans because we have disagreements on politics. You're embarrassing.
I wish anybody here had the same energy for the president of the United States, but that's good. I'm glad you guys are focused where it really counts on Twitter.
Dude, you have
like
TDS, you are like the prototype of TDS. It's unbelievable. You wake up every morning and you decide your behavior is going to hinge on Trump.
Tell me more about the dancing Israelis and building 7 and how the Jews all knew about 9/11 and they all want us to go to war in the Middle East. Yeah, of course.
Let me
I never once said the Jews were behind 9/11. Not once. Don't make things up, you disgusting prick.
Let me bring in Jack again. Jack.
Look at Andrew's face.
Navarro earlier was talking about directly to Elon Musk about, in his view, the urgent need for Elon Musk to detoxify X, given that he owns a platform, and that he blamed X for a lot of the toxicity in public discourse. What do you feel about that?
Well, I think there's obviously a tension between, standing and wanting free dialogue and freedom of speech, but also maintaining a line beyond calling for violence and calling for direct violence or direct criminal activity. So, X in its original Twitter fashion, if you go all the way back to, 2012, 2010, when it was really getting going, they used to pretty much the main things that were banned or would get taken down or get accounts banned were posting of direct addresses of people, so doxing, or posting direct threats to violence. And so I think there needs to be that line set of this is acceptable discourse. This is a back and forth, but the idea that a direct call for violence should be banned, I think that's something that I would support.
Andrew, what do you feel about the social media aspect of all this? Do you think that it is culpable to a degree in the surging toxicity of debate about these things?
Look, social media is a tool. And what social media has done right now is it's allowed us to get a glimpse into leftist ideology, finally. Yeah. And we get to see the insane madness that was always there. And the fact of the matter is that, here on the panel right this second, you have a guy who celebrated a multitude of these types of things, including telling his co-host that basically Trump, the worst place that the assassin could have put the bullet was anywhere other than Trump. I mean, I got the clip of him doing it. And so the thing is like what we've noted now, these people are glad. They're glad. They're happy. They love it. I go on TikTok all the time and I debate with these people. It's very clear that leftists are glad that this happened and that they're going to do everything they can to promote more of it. And we're supposed to base our behavior on what the president does or doesn't say. What, like if I had Biden derangement syndrome, I couldn't still come out and condemn political violence? Of course I could. But the thing is
I'm just curious. Anybody have any words for the fact that Charlie Kirk said that Biden should have been executed?
Leftists collectively can't seem to do that, though. I don't know why they can't seem to do that.
No, that was fine when Charlie Kirk said that.
Anna, I want to mention something to you, which I was going to talk to Cornel West
Charlie
about.
Kirk was a moderate. He was more moderate than a local electrician.
Yeah, nice pivot.
He was more moderate than a local electrician, and you know that.
He said he wanted to see Biden.
You have debated with the worst, and I've seen you do it. You know,
Biden executed. Okay, give me a fucking break.
No, that's not what he said.
Any of this stuff.
That's not what he said. He said if you violate criminality in criminal laws, then that will be the case.
All right, I want to ask Anna.
There's not
That's disgusting. People are outraged by that. I mean, I interviewed people when I was getting interviews that had like tears in their eyes the day it happened. I mean, the country really felt this, to be honest.
What's performative? What's performative?
Wait, so I say, oh, well, I think that guy was a criminal, therefore the execution is okay. Somehow that makes everything fine with no investigation, no criminal charges.
You say all the time that your political opponent should be in jail and highest extent of the law. You say it all the time. What are you talking about?
Sorry, no, that's Donald
saying
Trump.
the word performative doesn't mean anything.
The National Guard right now.
Oh, it's just performative.
Investigations into every
that's just
performative.
performative.
I want to bring Anna back in. I want to bring Anna back in.
Performative.
Okay, I want to bring Anna back in because the president-elect of the Oxford Union, probably the most premier debating society in the world. I've done it several times myself. George Aberonye reportedly posted he did post several comments in a WhatsApp group appearing to celebrate the murder of Charlie Kirk. One said, Charlie Kirk got shot. Let's fucking go. Another one was, I think, LOL. This guy is going to be the president of the Oxford Union Debating Society. And yet he is celebrating the murder of somebody he literally debated himself in the Oxford Union in May. I found that terrifying. I mean, he shouldn't still be in the job because how can you possibly be the head of a debating society when you think the way to debate with people?
I know and Destiny's going to gaslight and say Trump isn't turning down the temperature, but this is what's on their side.
It's murder them if they don't agree with you. But again, the gleeful celebration. This is supposedly one of the brightest students in Britain. President.
Right. Oh. Oh, come on. You're telling me the brightest student in Britain is wearing this to a... Yeah, okay. They just let anyone into Oxford now.
Of the new Oxford Union Debating Society.
When I was a kid, my dad used to say, son, when you grow up, real-time data analysis is going to be a thing.
He can't be that bright if he's not considering what a political assassination could potentially lead to. Because where does this end? And that's like one of my biggest issues with a portion of the left. Their inability to see past the current moment, right? You're celebrating it, but what's the long-term goal here? Is the long-term goal to just have to descend to an environment of endless political assassinations and violence? And if we're going to have the left go up against the right in terms of violence, in terms of bloodshed, in terms of shootings, I don't know. I would just venture to say that the right is probably going to do a better job in, taking people out than the left is. This is just a really disgusting, sick ideology, and we need to move away from it. And again, I want to emphasize, your personal behavior, the way you choose to behave and respond to things on a day-to-day basis has an impact. Okay, be the change you want to see in the world. So when you have a huge audience, and that audience of young people who look up to you, who feel inspired by you, hear you essentially minimize political violence or even make excuses for it or deflect by blaming Trump for everything, well, you're essentially...
I think that when women nag on these shows, like the men just naturally tune it out. Do you see all the other guys? She's actually making a valid point, but like they're all tuning it out. I think they get accustomed to it.
Indoctrinating people to support and normalize political violence. We can't be doing that. I don't care how people behave on the right. That's not going to have an impact on how I personally choose to behave. I want to be better than that. I want to preach dialogue, okay? Debate, have these conversations. And, you know, Charlie Kirk, the last debate he and I had, you know, Destiny would like you to believe that I agree with the right on everything. I don't agree with the right on everything. We debated about whether or not you have to have children in order to care about the future of this country. So we have a debate and it's fine. He has a right to his opinions. I have the right to mine. If you care about democracy, the democratic process is reliant on having these types of conversations and reliant on not resorting to violence because you're unable to articulate your arguments effectively against the other side. That's what I see this assassination.
All right, guys. Whew, I can't believe she brought that up, though. I cannot believe she brought up his lawsuits. That's insane. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like the video. I can't believe Anna Kasparian is the voice of reason right now. I can't believe it. Also, Anna has an open invite to come on my show. I emailed her during this actually. To see if she'd want to come on. I have a show concept and I need some liberals to do it. So I was thinking like Tuesday mornings maybe. I could do a stream and I could call it Hear Me Out, where each side has 2 hours where you have to hear the other side out on an opinion. And I want to do this with a liberal. Every person has to commit to 2 shows. Okay, this can be virtual. And the reason is because I want it to be equal. And then at the beginning, the person gets to rate how much they agree with the opinion. And if at the end, you get to see if they moved or not. Anyways, guys, like the video, subscribe, and, flood her comment section to see if she'll come on, like the video. I'll see you next time.